Alrighty. So this is going to be week 2, or rather week 1 of the AFG Draft League that I'm partaking in. Currently looking to actually just review my first week. Admittedly, now that I have actually started piloting this initial draft team, I'm thinking about doing a number of transactions with some help from other folks. Just having them look over stuff and suggest things. Speaking of which, I want to say a big thank you to Griggsy and Gradual for helping me match prep for this week. They definitely helped me in terms of redoing items, movesets, and helping a good amount as well with making me think for myself when it comes to actual stat investments. Griggsy also gave me a lot of resources when it comes to matchup charts, which is very, very helpful, and will help me just going forward, regardless of whether it's this week, next week, a different draft entirely. The resources that they gave me are very useful. I also want to give them another thank you as well for Griggsy, Gradual, and as well as Nice V Snammy, all of which in the AFG Discord, for helping me and suggesting different teams and transactions that I could go through with going forwards for week 2 and beyond. I have, I think, decided on a team combination or a team comp, but I'm not super sure about it quite yet. But I am pretty confident that I will be at the very least making team transactions. So, without further ado, I'm gonna go into and look at the actual review for week 1. So I led Deoxys Speed here, which my thought was, whenever we were going into this, I figured Staraptor was coming here no matter what, so when I didn't, admittedly I was a bit confused, but I also know that my Deoxys Speed is going to outspeed everything on their team, including their Mega Latios if it does Mega. But because they didn't bring their Staraptor, my speed investments kind of went to waste. Specifically because if we did have this into Mega Staraptor, we would outspeed it by 1 naturally. So we would have higher speed than it, even if it had Choice Scarf on Staraptor, which is what this specific speed investment was going to essentially look to aim to counter. But it did its work anyways in this matchup. Chipped, I think, 3 or 4 different Mons on its own, although we did end up losing, so I'll just let it play out for a little bit, and then I'll point out mistakes that I see for myself. Alright, turn 1. I already see a mistake. I was definitely supposed to either keep Deoxys in, predicting a Volt Switch, or keep Deoxys in and just hit a move no matter what here instead of immediately switching into Hoopa. If I were to switch into anything here as well, it should not be Hoopa. It should either be Magneton or Goodra. Quick Attack. I did not switch out of Hoopa. That's part of the reason why I should have switched into Hoopa in the first place. Additionally, knowing that they have this is their Terra leader, just should have immediately Terra'd, but I messed up my Terra type in the team builder. I should have gone Terra Grass this week. So Hoopa did not get anything through, no chip damage, so this didn't do much for me, unfortunately. But even with that being said, I think I still put up a good fight even without Hoopa. So admittedly, again, either switching out of Hoopa here would have won, or if instead of switching out of Hoopa, if I had gone Terra Grass and just Terra'd here, would have helped as well. Alright, my thing here with Balloon Magnezone, I should not have switched to Balloon in quite yet. It gives off too much information because it posts it here in chat. Realistically, Gudra Hisui was the correct switch in here, just because I want Balloon to be into his Excadrill or his Aggron, like always. Anti-Earthquake, basically, because otherwise I just get immediately OHKO'd no matter what by any decent attacker with Earthquake or similar move. Speaking of, there's the Excadrill. So Flash Cannon here makes sense. Hoping to actually get it on their onto their Sylveon, but it makes sense that they're switching out. It's a Steel type. Steel's going to be super effective, so they did a good play here. Rock Slide was not what I was expecting, admittedly, but it would have done the same thing as something like just breaking the balloon, if not just dealing enough damage for it. Chilling Water reveal was a bit too early here. This is correct here. They get 2x speed, so now they can get the chip here, and then pop the balloon into switching into Excadrill. So once I see this, I revealed Body Press too early here as well. That is the... So if I were to hit Body Press here with that Magnezone, if I was going to do that, it should have been specifically using it into Excadrill when it's out on the field and not predicting it, which is also why I should have preserved the balloon. So Volt Switch into Buzzwole, I CC into the Rotom. So specifically with my Buzzwole, I want to show something off here. Team Builder. So my Buzzwole is an AV Buzzwole, specifically because of the calc that I ran for Latios Mega. So Buzzwole into Mega Latios at full HP, Luster Purge AV with this 80 special defense investment, doing literally nothing else, no plus nature into special defense. It will live from full HP on essentially 1, but it lives basically. So I figured if I had to switch into Latios with Buzzwole, I could. Not that it would be a good switch in, but it was an option. Additionally, here looking at Leech Life, chance to OHKO, but always CC is going to be very useful no matter what Pokemon he switches into, even if it resists. As you can see here, Latios did resist, and even though it resisted, it still did a good, what was that, a good half HP? Yeah, so good half HP into the Latios with the CC. But now the issue is that Buzzwole took chip damage. And because Buzzwole took chip damage, this calc gets thrown out the window. I would have been better off here, instead of running AV and these special defense investments, would have been better off running either more attack investments and changing AV to something like Expert Belt or running a Life Orb. Alternatively, Choice Band would have been another option as well. Could have also just ran these investments into defense, because this could have came into play better later, which probably was the correct play, was to just drop AV and change these investments to be into defense, probably running Expert Belt instead. But live and learn. The other option would have been just running leftovers on Buzzwole. That could have came into play as well, even if I didn't have AV Buzzwole here, even without these investments, I think leftovers on Buzzwole would have done a good job as well. Hopefully it'll be obvious once we get towards the later game why I think it would have been useful, but I'll just let it play out for now. So Florges switch into their Latios, looking to get a super effective on their Latios. They predict a switch, I think, here, or they just didn't predict my investments, or they didn't calc one of those three. But yeah, I just hit them with Moonblast, and then they get like half chip on my Florges, and then I just remove essentially my biggest threat I felt at the time. Although I didn't realize how good Sylveon with Pixelated Choice Band was. So Excadrill, Mold Breaker, switch out. Yes, Buzzwole is correct here, specifically because, you know, it's just like, again, using Buzzwole here as this, it is my ground resist. It is my only ground resist currently, and because it's my only ground resist, it is very, very fortunate that it is essentially one of the better ground resists, if not one of the best ground resists that was available at the time. So I think switching into a lot of their ground types, it just makes sense here. And at this point, essentially just spamming, spamming CC just makes the most sense here. Here they switch into Excadrill. He's going to outspeed me, so I felt like I needed to switch out. In hindsight here, I could have knocked out their Excadrill using another CC or something else. Now my only thing here is I do have 2 defense drops here on my Buzzwole. So I don't know, I don't have a calc on it, unfortunately, but if I were to run that real quick, Excadrill, he is I don't think he's a Sand Sweeper. Did he use multiple different moves in one, or no? Rock Slide, Earthquake, so he Rock Slide then switched out, okay. So he could be CC, or Choice Band, so I don't know, actually. I think he actually did get a Swords Dance off at some point, so I'm gonna have it like this for now. This makes sense, actually, yeah. So it was Earthquake with this, and then I had 2 defense drops. He was at how much at the time? Where is it? There we go. 31%. Okay. So it was pretty low. Is there a way to see? Because he had 2 defense drops. How do I do that on here? Sorry. Oh wait, this is into Suing Gudra. Wrong one. This one. Buzzwole at... Let's go last turn. There we go. Buzzwole at 30% health. It's 30.1. Okay, so they don't do points, so it's probably 126. Yeah. And then they were Earthquake. So it's a 2-hit here. Oh, there we go. So -4 by the time of a switch in. Earthquake would have killed. So yeah, I did the correct play here of switching out. After knocking out their Drapion, predicting a switch, or just knowing that I would outspeed. Because this is -4 defense. Yeah. So let's put this back to neutral. Let's play out. I sacked Florges here, thinking that switching back into Buzzwole here. And for whatever reason, I decided to just go Deoxys Speed here instead of switching back into Buzzwole, even though, again, looking back at the calc last time, whenever it did Earthquake into Buzzwole, it's 17 at most. So it's like 17, well, no, actually, no, I did it right, my bad. Because he would have outsped me and then switched once I get my Buzzwole in. So yeah, no. D-Speed Ice Beam here was for either of their steel types. So if it's either Excadrill or if they switch into Aggron, that's what the Ice Beam was there for. But yeah, so Magnezone here, I should have switched out, and I think I sacked him on accident. Yep. So I sacked him. Should not have done that. If I had just switched into D-Speed or switched into Buzzwole here, it's probably correct, but this works either way. So the Psychic here, we went through this iteration of I go Deoxys into Ice Beam and you switch out into Rotom Wash. Or you Rotom Wash and you switch into Excadrill and I always clicked Ice Beam, predicting they would switch into one of their steel types. After going through this a few times, I decided to just go Psychic, because I wanted to get their Rotom Wash as their pivot out of the way. And even if I go into one of their steel types that's going to resist my Psychic damage, it still is chip damage. So I think this was correct here, knowing that like the last 2 or 3 times that I've done this where I click Ice Beam, they switch anyways, or they don't switch, and I predict it. So it was just more correct for me to just go Psychic. So there we go, Ice Beam. That was my biggest thing, was I wanted to get the Ice Beam. Not predict this amount of damage off of their Excadrill. So here they Earthquake, I get my move off. Super effective. Alright, so here... yeah. So here's where I would say that changing my investments into my Buzzwole or changing my item into my Buzzwole would have made more sense. Ideally both. If I had gone leftovers with this defense into essentially what I had done, because they didn't get a single attack off of their Latios. It's not like I would have known that, but also, again, hindsight being 20/20, that chip damage with their Lusterpurge as an option, it would have done it anyways. So running that AV did not make much sense. Nor did running the special defense investment. Because, again, if I'm going to have Buzzwole and they switch into Latios, the answer is to just switch out of Buzzwole instead. And then I also want to talk about here, team building wise, for my Goodra Hisui. I decided, for whatever reason, to run Sludge Wave over Flash Cannon on this set. And then after the match, I was advised essentially that Flash Cannon would have been a lot better. And I agree, like definitively I agree. So because of these last 2 Mons are Steel and this one's a Fairy, the choice is either do I go with a Stab, super effective Steel move into Sylveon here, which again 50, so it's a 2-hit KO, or a Poison, which guaranteed 3-hit KO, no chance at a 2-hit KO, which I didn't do the calculus of this beforehand. And additionally though, Sludge Wave doing 0% to Steel types. I knew going into this that they had 2 Steel types at least they were probably bringing, at the very minimum 1 in Excadrill. So Sludge Wave would have done nothing to Excadrill. Flash Cannon would be able to do damage to Excadrill at the very least, even though it is resisted, and Stab type bonus. And into, again, Sylveon, it would have done a guaranteed 2-hit with no attack investment. This is no attack investment, no special, or 4 special attack investment, which is what I was bringing anyways. So I was 4 with a modest nature. So here's where I think I also threw, but this was in team building more so than anything that I threw. Between Buzzwole and Goodra, if I had built either of those better, I think I would have won. But again, live and learn. Hindsight being 20/20 and all that fun stuff. I also didn't realize during the battle that I would resist their, or not resist, but be neutral to their Pixelate moves because of Steel type. I thought because I'm Dragon type, I'm just gonna immediately just fucking melt. So I was avoiding switching Goodra consciously, which I shouldn't have done, because I don't have the type chart memorized. But like this is just good information for me to know that like Steel type resists Fairy. Again, I didn't know it at the time. Just good information for me to have. And here's what I'm saying: Sludge Wave instead of Sludge Wave. If I had decided to run Flash Cannon, whether I predicted a switch or not, having this Flash Cannon essentially lets me go 2 hits into the Aggron and win, I believe. Right? Because, or is the Surf though? Okay. So this is 23%. Flash Cannon has a chance, basically, of 2-hitting with 1 Flash Cannon and 1 Surf. And that is if they are invested into special defense with an Assault Vest, with max HP. So I do think that it was absolutely correct. Again, like if I had gotten any chip damage into this Aggron, Surf would have just killed. It just would have. And I was debating on going with, what's it called? I was debating on going Surf initially, but I decided against it whenever they did their switch turn. But again, by the time I had done Sledge Wave, too late. It is what it was. So they did Endeavor with Custap, which I did not predict, but like not like it mattered too much. They had a decent amount of health investment, it seems. So yeah, here's Sledge Wave, 47%, which was high roll on a no investment Sylveon, which is what I figured they would be. Likely all attack and all speed, or like minimal investment in physical defense, or minimal investment in special attack to be like a mixed attacker as an option. But if I had done Flash Cannon here, it's a 2-hit KO, no matter what. So I do think, again, just if I had built Flash Cannon on Goodra, would have won the game. If I had built Buzzwole slightly differently, running leftovers and then changing the investments, and even if I don't change the investments here, I think leftovers does just win me the game. So here, quick attack, gooey. So they're half speed, but again, especially early on, between piloting issues with my Hoopa Unbound and team building mistakes for my own purposes of Buzzwole having AV to predict a Luster Purge, it doesn't make too much sense. Again, especially considering that if I have Buzzwole in and he takes any amount of chip damage, my AV just goes out the window, basically. So, like, there was no point in me ever realistically running AV Buzzwole, which, again, hindsight being 2020, but also it's good information for me to take with me going forwards, because I do think whenever I do end up switching Mons out, it will likely be, I'm going to keep Buzzwole. So, yeah. But they won. It was surprisingly close, I think, considering the mistakes, honestly, that I had made. But also, they just really caught me off guard, honestly. I was even warned of their Sylveon with Quick Attack and Pixelate, and a potential Choice Band. Like, I was warned of all of this, and I just was not expecting the actual amount of damage output. So that's really on me, completely underestimating their Sylveon. But yeah, that was the review of week 1 of LittleRoot in AFG. So I hope to be back with week 2 and hopefully bring back a win then. Anyways, until then, I'll see you around. Peace.